everyone. My name is Annie Lee. I'm a senior consultant in our adoption change management team here at Valorum Reply. And as Richard mentioned, today's presentation is really focused on do more with less. But as we get started with this, it's good to just have everyone on the same page and understanding what do we mean by do more with less and what kind of impact does that really have? So as a Microsoft 365 consultancy, we truly believe that Microsoft 365 is an extensive and powerful enough of a platform to really drive most, if not all, of our collaborative work. So when we talk about doing more with less, we're talking about evaluating the technical landscape within an organization and seeing how we can reduce the number and cost of applications that are having duplicative functionality with those that we're already leveraging with Microsoft 365. So all in all, just thinking of how we can optimize our use of Microsoft 365 to really make sure that we're getting the most bang for our buck. Some of you might be thinking, well, we just got to this kind of stable state with our technological landscape. I mean, the pandemic obviously disrupted everything, and we really had to adjust from there. Why would we disrupt what we've got going on today to focus more on Microsoft 365? Well, I want to bring some numbers into the discussion here today. So Okta's recent business review report found that the average large organization today has 187 different applications deployed within their organization centered on, facilitating and enabling work within their workforce. This is a huge number of applications, and it's up significantly from only 58 applications per large organization in 2015. So obviously with the pandemic and even in the years beforehand, the number of applications in the technological landscape has been growing. But what Okta's report also found was that within that 187 apps, actually 30% of those applications had duplicative or redundant functionality. So this means that there's a lot of room to really consolidate and focus on what's most important and how we can do more with less. Now, redundant functionality does have an impact really on the workforce and the employee experience. From a larger workforce perspective, we're aiming to facilitate collaboration and an easy working digital experience. But oftentimes we're actually creating these knowledge and data silos, and we're making it difficult to manage the sheer number of applications in use at an organization. So an easy area of impact to imagine would be security. From a governance standpoint, 187 applications is a huge number of apps to manage, and having to think about how people are using them. Are they using them in the correct ways? Are they being properly managed on the back end? And then, of course, we have budget considerations. With that number of applications, we know that there is a tremendous number of different licenses and their associated costs that are playing a role here as well. But more than anything, we're really stifling the things that we want to enable the most for our workforce, and that's collaboration and communication. With so many different applications, we're often impacting our workforce with this sort of tool paralysis, this which tool when, that keeps them from being able to quickly choose and decide exactly what tools they should be using for, joining a virtual meeting, collaborating with colleagues, working on files together, all these sorts of collaborative tasks. And what this creates is a fragmented digital employee experience. So there is a people impact to this, of course, as well, alongside technology. We have this experience where folks are increasingly distracted and, again, unable to kind of choose for this themselves what is the best tool to use for my use case and to do so in a timely manner. And because of this tool sprawl, we're making it more difficult for folks to engage with us as team members and leaders in our daily work. And all of these elements come together to impact retention and attrition. There's really this large impact that having this huge number of applications and this tool paralysis can create. And with that, not only is the impact, financial, it's also psychological. So when we talk about context switching or toggling between different applications, a recent Harvard Business Review study looked at 3 Fortune 500 companies and found that teams within them tended to, at an individual basis, toggle between websites and applications a staggering 1,200 times per day. I cannot even imagine doing anything 1,200 times a day, let alone switching between different applications and windows in my browser. So if we think about this context switching, there's also time associated with this. Let's say that it takes maybe 2 to 3 seconds for us to switch between these different applications and windows, both in terms of physical time, making those clicks, but also the psychological context switching that we need to do before we're able to move on to our next window effectively. If we compile all of that time along with this sheer volume of different toggles per day, we're actually looking at 4 hours per working week, which equals 5 working weeks per year. And if we think about that, that's 10% of an average employee's working time. So if we think about an average salary of an employee at perhaps $80,000, we're looking at $8,000 of time per employee per year spent on really just managing the various different applications we use and getting from place to place to do our work. So really, not only is there a people impact, a security and larger workplace context impact, this is how that employee experience behavior translates into time and the bottom line. So really, let's reduce the amount of applications and redundant functionality that we're acquiring, and let's let Microsoft 365 do the heavy lifting.